Daily routines for boosting mental clarity, not focus. Have you ever felt like your brain is just running at half speed? You sit down to work, you open the document, and then a whole lot of nothing, just that silent, buzzing fog of distraction. Before you know it, you're lost in a dozen pointless browser tabs, checking your phone for no reason, and at the end of the day, you feel completely exhausted but have accomplished almost nothing. It's that horrible cycle of knowing you're capable of more, but feeling like you're just stuck in mental mud. I hit a point where I knew something had to change. So, I decided to try a little experiment. I wasn't just going to try a few new habits. I was going to go all in. I decided to combine the exact daily routines recommended by two people who are titans in their fields. Neuroscientist, Dr. Andrew Huberman, who teaches us how our brains actually work, and Stoic author Ryan Holiday, who draws on ancient wisdom for modern-day discipline. For 30 days, I would live by their playbooks. The question is, could these so-called perfect routines actually work for a normal person in the real world? Can you really biohack your way to a better brain? Let's find out. The rules of the game. First, let me walk you through the rules I set for myself. This wasn't a casual attempt. I wanted to see what would happen if I really committed. I blended the core principles from Huberman and Holiday into one single daily schedule, broken down into 3 phases: morning, afternoon, and evening. The morning routine is easily the most intense part. The first rule, straight from Ryan Holiday, is a tough one. Absolutely no phone for the first hour of the day. No email, no social media, no news. The idea is to start the day on your own terms, not by reacting to everyone else's agenda. Then, the Huberman protocol kicks in right away. Upon waking, hydrate with a big glass of water with a pinch of sea salt for electrolytes. This is supposed to help wake up your brain and get everything flowing before you do anything else. Next up is Huberman's most famous non-negotiable, morning sunlight. Within an hour of waking, I had to get 10 to 20 minutes of direct sunlight in my eyes. And no, sunglasses don't count. Even on cloudy days, you just have to stay out there longer. This one habit is meant to trigger a healthy spike of cortisol that makes you feel awake, and more importantly, it sets a timer in your brain to release melatonin later that night, which means better sleep. It's one of the most powerful ways to anchor your body's entire daily rhythm. After the sun came a moment of reflection, blending both worlds. I had 2 choices: a 10-minute meditation to train my focus, or Stoic journaling. The journaling, inspired by Holiday and Marcus Aurelius, isn't just a diary. It's a premeditation of evils, which sounds intense, but it just means thinking about the challenges that might pop up during the day and planning how you'll handle them with calm and character. It's about preparing for trouble instead of being shocked by it. Only after all of that was I allowed to have coffee. Huberman is a huge advocate for delaying caffeine for 90 to 120 minutes after waking. Why? Because it lets your body naturally clear out a chemical called adenosine that builds up while you sleep. If you drink coffee right away, you're just putting a band-aid on that sleepiness, which all but guarantees an afternoon crash. By waiting, you let your body wake up on its own, so the caffeine works better and gives you much more stable energy. Finally, the morning routine had to end with some kind of exercise to get the body moving and raise your core temperature, signaling to your brain that it's time to be alert. The afternoon routine was all about focus. The main event is a 90-minute deep work block. This is backed by both Holiday's philosophy and Huberman's science. Our brains tend to work in 90-minute cycles of focus and unfocus, called ultradian rhythms. The rule was to set a timer and dedicate 90 minutes to my single most important task. No phone, no email, no distractions. After that intense focus, rest is mandatory, but not just scrolling through your phone. After lunch, the protocol called for a 10 to 30-minute session of non-sleep deep rest, or NSDR. This is a technique Huberman talks about a lot, usually a guided script that puts you in a state of profound relaxation while you're still awake. It's designed to help restore your ability to focus and fight that classic post-lunch slump. The evening routine was all about winding down. It started with another short walk outside to get some evening sun, which signals to your brain that the day is ending. Then came the evening journaling. If the morning journal is about preparation, the evening one is about reflection. Following the Stoic philosopher Seneca's model, I asked myself 3 questions. What bad habit did I manage today? What good did I do? Where can I improve? It's a simple, honest look at the day. And the final rule: no screens for at least an hour before bed. Instead, I had to read a physical book. The rules were set. Now, it was time to actually live them. The journey, the first 7 days, the struggle. That first week was, to put it gently, brutal. Every part of this new routine felt completely unnatural, and my mind and body were in open rebellion. First, there was the sunlight mandate. Forcing myself to go outside right after waking up just felt weird. On sunny days, I was self-conscious, standing in my yard staring at the sky like some kind of strange garden gnome. On cloudy days, it was even worse. I'd be out there for over 20 minutes in the grey, damp morning, feeling ridiculous and wondering if my neighbors were about to call someone. I wasn't feeling a magical rush of energy, I just felt cold. But the real monster of that first week was delaying my coffee. I have been a wake-up and stumbled directly to the coffee pot person my entire life. Making myself wait 90 minutes felt like a special kind of torture. For the first 3 days, I had a pounding headache by 9 a.m. I walked around in a fog, a zombie in my own house, just counting down the seconds until I could have that first cup. I was irritable, I was useless, and I was seriously questioning my sanity. How could this possibly lead to more focus when I could barely form a thought? 0. 5. Then there was the journaling. I'd sit down with my notebook, and my mind would go completely blank. The Stoic practice of thinking about what could go wrong felt so negative. My first few entries were incredibly clumsy. Today, my Wi-Fi might go out. I will respond calmly. It felt silly, not profound. I couldn't see how this was building resilience. It just felt like I was writing worry fiction. The afternoons weren't any better. After lunch, every cell in my body was screaming for a nap, or at least a mindless scroll on Instagram. Instead, I had to lie on the floor and listen to an NSDR script. The first few times were a total disaster. My mind was racing, thinking about my to-do list, an email I forgot to send, and just how strange it was to be lying on the floor in the middle of the workday. I'd finish the 20 minutes feeling even more restless. That first week ended with me feeling completely overwhelmed. I was following the rules, but I wasn't focused or clear. I just felt tired and like I was failing at a foolproof routine. The journey. Weeks 2, 3. Finding the rhythm. Then, somewhere in the second week, something started to shift. The shock wore off, and the simple force of repetition started to carve new grooves in my day. The struggle didn't disappear, but it was slowly replaced by a sense of rhythm. The first habit to finally click was the morning sunlight. It stopped feeling like a chore and started to feel like an anchor to my day. I actually began to look forward to that quiet 10 minutes outside. I realized the mental fog that usually stuck around until mid-morning was clearing out much, much earlier. It was subtle at first, but it was real. I felt more awake before my first sip of coffee, which I never thought was possible. And then, the miracle happened. I beat the caffeine delay. Around day 10, I woke up and didn't feel that desperate, clawing need for coffee. The headaches were gone. My energy in that first 90-minute window was even and stable. And when I finally had my coffee, it hit differently. It wasn't a crutch to get me to a baseline level of human. It was a tool that actually elevated my focus. And because my body had managed its own energy, the afternoon crash never came. I was finally off the caffeine roller coaster. This new morning clarity bled right into my deep work blocks. With a timer set and distractions gone, I found myself slipping into a state of flow more easily and consistently than ever. Understanding that my brain was designed for these 90-minute pulses was a game changer. I stopped fighting my own biology and started working with it. I was getting more meaningful work done in that one block than I used to in 3 or 4 hours of scattered, frantic effort. But the biggest surprise was NSDR. After a week of restless frustration on the floor, I finally learned to let go. I stopped trying to relax and just let the guided script do its thing. And one afternoon, it just happened. I sank into that strange, dreamlike state of being deeply relaxed but still aware. I got up after 20 minutes and felt like my brain had been wiped clean. The post-lunch drowsiness was gone, replaced by a quiet, calm focus. It was like a system reboot for my mind, and it was so much more restorative than the 20 minutes of anxious scrolling it replaced. By the end of week 3, the collection of annoying habits had finally fused into a single, powerful system. Each part supported the next, creating this upward spiral of energy and focus. I wasn't just following rules anymore. I was starting to feel the rewards. If you're finding this journey interesting and think some of these habits could help you too, I've put together a simple one-page PDF cheat sheet of the complete routine I used. It's the exact guide that kept me on track every day, and you can download it for free at the link in the description. And while you're down there, if you're getting some value out of this, hitting that subscribe button would mean the world. It's a huge support for the channel and tells me you want to see more challenges like this one. The results, week 4 and beyond, the transformation. The 4th week was when it all came together. The small benefits I'd been noticing compounded into a massive shift in my mental state. This wasn't just about being more productive, it was about a fundamental change in how I felt. The biggest result was the disappearance of brain fog. The best way I can describe it is like watching your life go from a blurry, low-resolution video to sharp, stunning 4K. Before, my thoughts felt tangled and slow. Now, they felt organized and quick. I could hold complex ideas in my head without feeling overwhelmed. The constant, low-grade static inside my mind had been turned down, leaving room for actual, meaningful thought. This clarity led directly to the second major result: deep, sustained focus. My ability to resist distractions was night and day. Before, the tiniest notification could send me off course for 20 minutes. Now, during my 90-minute work blocks, I was locked in. The urge to procrastinate by doing easy little tasks just melted away. This wasn't just willpower, it was the system working. Managing my energy with the caffeine delay, resetting my brain with NSDR, and creating a protected time block, it all worked together to make focus the default state, not something I had to fight for. The third result was a surprising one. I felt more emotionally stable. This is where the Stoic journaling, which I hated at first, really proved its worth. That morning habit of thinking through potential challenges made me so much less reactive. When something went wrong, a frustrating email, a tech meltdown, I didn't have that same jolt of anxiety or anger. I had already considered it, so I could approach it as a problem to be solved, not a crisis to panic over. The evening reflection then helped me learn from it and let it go, instead of carrying that stress with me into the night. And that brings me to the foundation of it all: dramatically better sleep and energy. The entire routine is built to support your body's natural rhythms, and it worked. Morning sun set my internal clock, and the evening wind-down respected it. I started falling asleep faster and waking up before my alarm feeling genuinely rested. As a result, my energy was unbelievably stable all day long. The 3 p.m. slump that had been a daily feature of my life for years, it just vanished. I had clean, consistent energy from morning until night. Conclusion. So, after 30 days, what's the verdict? Can these routines actually work for a regular person? The answer is a huge, unequivocal yes. But there's a catch. It's not magic. It takes real commitment, and you have to be willing to push through a very uncomfortable first week. This experiment truly changed my relationship with my own energy and attention. It taught me that mental clarity isn't something you just hope for. It's something you build day by day through small, deliberate actions. So, what am I keeping? The non-negotiables, the habits that gave me the biggest return, are here to stay. Morning sunlight is now a permanent fixture in my life. The caffeine delay is non-negotiable. The 90-minute work blocks are how I'm structuring my work from now on, and the evening journal has been a game-changer for my peace of mind. But I am making a few tweaks to make it work for my real life. I'm adapting the no-phone rule to no work email or social media for the first hour. This still protects my focus without making me feel totally disconnected. And things like daily cold showers, which Huberman also recommends and I tried here and there, will be a tool I use when I need an extra boost, not a daily mandate. Look, you don't have to adopt this entire, intense protocol overnight. That would be a recipe for burnout. The real lesson here is the power of starting small. Pick one of these habits, just one. Try getting morning sunlight every day for a week, or see what happens when you delay your coffee. The goal isn't to become a perfect, hyper-optimized robot. The goal is to build a system that works for you, one that clears out the noise so you have the energy and focus to work on the things that truly matter. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these habits sounds the most appealing, or which one sounds absolutely impossible? And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more experiments in focus and intentional living. Thanks for watching.